It's the Happy Families Podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
I love Fridays. Fridays are my favourite day of the week, and it's not because the weekend is just around the corner, although it kind of is because the weekend is just around the corner. But it's because on Fridays on the podcast, we talk I'll Do Better Tomorrow. It's the bit where we get reflective, intentional. We focus on what went well, what didn't, how we can, dial up our parenting. That's the whole idea. My name's Dr. Justin Coulson. I'm here with my wife and mum to our 6 kids, Kylie, Mrs. Happy Families. Kylie, we have been a little bit cheeky over the last couple of weeks. Our podcast has been a mixture of regular podcast programming, but also a handful of replays because across the winter break, we got away. We had our family holiday, but it was a family holiday with a catch. It wasn't the whole family.
They're the best kind.
So early on in the piece, we discovered a couple of things. Number one, when you take your kids on a holiday and they're young, they don't want to go on holidays. All they want is a beach or a pool. They want parent attention. And if you try to go sightseeing, if you try to go to museums or plays, if you try to go
They're not interested.
Look
they
at
don't care
architecture,
about it.
if you try to hike up a big hill, they just whinge and complain. So much so that when I was a kid, I was 12. I'm the eldest of 6 kids. There's me, my twin sisters, my brother, and then another set of twin sisters. When I was 12, so my younger sisters weren't alive at that time. Mum and Dad took us on a big trip to America. And we were driving through Nevada. The Grand Canyon was an hour and a half away. We pulled into the hotel and checked in so that we could get some rest. There was a swimming pool there. And Mum said, no pool. We're going to the Grand Canyon. And all of us kids revolted. We said, we don't care about the Grand Canyon. There's a pool. We want to have a swim. We went to America. We were an hour away from the Grand Canyon, never went.
Wow.
And so you and I have talked about these concepts. I don't know if I've shared that story with you before, but we've talked about this concept and decided that for our children, until they get to about the age of 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there, where they're old enough to appreciate the trip and have the stamina for the walking up and down the city streets or the exploration or the architecture or whatever, we've just decided no holidays other than beaches and parks and just local cheap stuff because they don't care.
I don't actually think you've told me that story before, but I have heard your mum numerous times say, do you remember when we did blah, blah, blah? And you kids will go, yeah, no. And she said, I'm so glad I spent all that money to take you.
That's the other thing. Like the kids don't remember the trips when they're less than, 8, 10, maybe even 12. But even from 8 to 12, they just don't really have the stamina. Now, we're not trying to rain on your parade. If you're a family who just saved up and took everyone over to Japan or Thailand or you did some great big holiday, good for you. That's wonderful. This is not science-based. This is just experience-based. We just don't feel like it's the best way to have a valuable family trip.
But the other thing that was majorly important was we worked out very early on with 6 kids the financial challenge that is placed on you an effort to get 6 children plus ourselves.
It's 2 hotel
overseas.
rooms, it's big cars.
It wasn't within reach
Yeah.
for us. And I don't think that it ever will be.
No. So we made a decision early on that we would take the kids on one-on-one holidays when they got to 16 or thereabouts, just you, me, and that child. And
this has actually become like it's become a really tradition. Beautiful tradition that I am so glad we started. And the kids just look forward to it. It's something that, they're counting down the years to get there.
So first time we did it, we had a baby that we had to take along and a really anxious child who also ended up piggybacking, and the other kids were so dirty. They were like, I can't believe you're taking them when you're not taking us. It was really, really, really rough. But when we got home and the kids talked about the experience that they'd had, those who came with us, everyone else started to go, oh yeah, this is going to be good. And from that point, with this promise that this is a tradition, this is what we're going to be doing, the kids got really, really excited about it. So we've just done one. And I've got to highlight, we didn't want to do this one because the cost of the trip, the cost of inflation, the cost of travel, everything, so darn expensive. But it's tradition, and traditions help to create identity. They help to build meaning. They give people purpose. They help people to understand the world. There's so much research around tradition, and there's so many reasons that we just thought, we can't afford it, but we're going to do it anyway. And so we did. But we took 2 kids.
I was about to say, we were a little bit cheeky because
couldn't afford to do it again in 2 years.
There's only a few years between baby number 4 and 5. And so baby number 5's only 14. She actually got an early tradition present.
Yeah. And honestly, at 14, I think it was a stretch.
It was.
If she's listening,
really
I'm
was.
sorry, Lil. I think it was a stretch, but we got through it. She was able to do it. And again, lifelong memories, plus really great bonding experience with her big sister. So from that point of view, we're ticking the boxes. It's okay. And I mean, it's loose, right? This is developmental, and it's just a best guess on the part of a parent. That's the main gist, the main thrust of what we wanted to talk about today on our Older Better Tomorrow. Holidays matter. Traditions are vitally important, but sometimes it feels like it's out of reach.
That's what I love about what we've created with our kids is this tradition is actually twofold. The kids go on summer camp for 1 week, which gives you and I a week to connect and to spend time together and relax and rejuvenate and explore the world in a different way. And then we come together and we have a week together. And what I love about that is the acknowledgement that with a big family like ours, sometimes you can kind of feel like you get lost in all the noise. And so for the kids to know that they've got that week that's just all about them, and they get to do the things that they want to do and explore in a way that is exciting to them, but they have our full attention. They just love it. And I love it too, because I get to see a different side of them and get to, kind of enjoy them in a way that we don't get to do that in everyday life.
It's been a while since I've shared a high quality, bad dad joke with you.
Oh, no.
Why do skeletons not create new traditions?
Because they're dead?
No, because they don't have the guts to break the old ones. I'm sorry. So here's maybe just a couple of other things to highlight here. Traditions matter because they promote belonging, they teach values, they offer healing, they create and celebrate culture, they teach values, and they create lasting memories. That's just a little bit about what research has highlighted there. Traditions don't have to be holidays. It could be something as simple as family game night or dinner time conversations. Traditions could be family meetings or one-on-one time. I remember when I was growing up, my parents every Sunday would spend half an hour every Sunday afternoon with each of us 6 kids. We got one-on-one time, half an hour with mum, half an hour with dad, and we sort of went through this rotation where we got to have that. And it was actually really, really meaningful. It was really great. Traditions mark milestones. When I think of Hamish Blake and how he does that, build a birthday cake on the kids on the night before the kid's birthday. He gets a little bit sloshed while he does it, but it's a great tradition. And for us, this tradition it's become when the kids. I'm so glad we've only got one more to turn 16 now,
and we've got 6 years to save up for the next one.
But they teach these values and they teach culture and it's just really valuable. So with your upcoming trips, or if you're worrying about whether you can afford the trip because you want the kids to have these amazing, enriching experiences, wait until they're old enough to remember it and to fully contribute and participate and experience it. Otherwise, just go cheap. Just go cheap. The kids, they don't care and they won't remember it anyway. A beach holiday is all that they need. When they get older, though, creating those traditions, for us, has been so meaningful. And I guess in wrapping up, Kylie, the experience of our 14 and 16-year-old as they've had the camp experience and had the week with us, traveling and trying new things and having their eyes opened to completely new cultural experiences, it's been a highlight of their lives. And honestly, it's been a real delight for us. We've done this 3 or 4 times now, and yet doing it this time, it felt as exciting, brand new and wonderful as ever. And it just felt so meaningful.
And I think for me, one of the major highlights out of it was the fact that our 14 and 16-year-old, they actually really struggled to get on a lot of the time.
Some sibling challenges there, aren't there?
They're so close in age, and they're just at that point where they're too similar, and it's just tricky. So I was a little bit concerned about taking them together. I think this trip was a really poignant moment in their relationship development as they shared experiences together.
High quality bonding.
It was amazing.
We hope that this gives you some inspiration and some ideas when it comes to planning family traditions, family holidays, what matters, what doesn't, where you should go and when you should do it, so that you can maximize the benefit to everyone involved. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will be back on Monday talking about the increasing number of parents who are worried about their children's emotional dysregulation. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. If you would like more information about making your family happier, visit us at happyfamilies.com.au. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you Monday.